Hi, Will.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, thank you. I slept well. You know why?
Why?
I felt very secure because I followed the three first controls out of the top 12.
Yeah. Well, we definitely have some more. I didn't sleep well because there's definitely more that we need to look at.
Yeah, yeah, but let's for our listener, let's review on the top three that we mentioned last time. So it's asset management, the first one. Second one is security awareness training.
Yep.
And the third one is antivirus, so EDR.
Yes. So we were talking about it, and I really got to think. It's like, well, if the EDR fails, we're in trouble. So that brings me to my next favorite control for this part two is backups.
Okay.
So we look at backups and we say it's uh, pretty much I would hope everybody does it. The Microsoft and Apple have made it easy, to have our personal, like our desktop and our downloads and our document files all backed up automatically. But really, what matters for a business is the servers and our customers' data. And so I think the next thing we've definitely got to look at is we've got that front end little protection, but the very next thing we've got to do is backups. So because if anything fails, we've got to have that backup that we can restore.
But what is the backup? Backup is for data, for hardware, for the actual servers, for continuity, or
Yes. That's the simple answer. Yes. No, it's all that. When we look at backup, we can call it different things. We can call it business continuity, disaster recovery. There's different pieces of it, and it can get very complex, right? So we in cyber we talk about, and in IT as well, we talk about like recovery point objectives, recovery time, RTOs, RPOs, and really, we talked about that first most critical control being the asset inventory. Part of the things that we need to learn there is how long can these systems be down, and how and not impact the business critically. And so when we're doing that asset inventory, now we figure out how long systems can be offline, then we can plan our backup strategy. So yes, at the bare bottom level, backup is a copy of the data or a copy of the server, but your strategy behind that backup is definitely going to be on how quick do I need to recover.
yeah, it reminds me that I was head of IT for different companies in the past, and always when you have this problem and you need your backups, it's never working. So you
Right.
spend so much time to take the data, and then you find out that you don't have the data you need.
or,
So yeah,
or you don't have a catalog to know how far back you need to go. Your tapes aren't labeled. I mean, if people are still using tapes, but yeah, there's a lot of things. With a backup strategy comes testing your backups, right? After you back something up, you need to test it. You need to test recovery, and this is a regular cadence thing. So the just creating a backup is not sufficient. You've got to test it. You've got to see what was
yeah,
backed up. Can we restore it? And then figure out how long does it take to restore. I would say definitely do that on a test system. I wouldn't do that to your production system, because if you didn't have the right data, then you're in a world of hurt. But backup is that if all else fails, we see with ransomware that the debate is always, do I pay the ransom? Well, if you have a good backup, we have the discussion of how far back do I need to go? How far back before those threat actors were in my network? But at least you have a way to recover and at least get back to business. So yeah, definitely backup. And I know a lot in the community would argue that backup goes further up in the chain, like into the first three. But I do think that backup is definitely here in our top six.
Yeah, so let's call it effective backup. It's not enough to have a backup, it should be effective.
It should be effective, tested,
Yeah.
validated. It's all of that is, when all else fails, that backup is what's going to keep our customers in business.
Great. So let's move to, this was number 4. Let's move to number 5.
So I place number 5 being separate accounts for admins and users.
Hmm.
So, as we have this separation, we talk about separation of duties, we talk about all these different identity type separations, but at a most basic level, if I'm, clicking on an email, I should not be logged into an admin account. So separating that admin function from the user function is going to be critical. So, we've seen with different threats, different ransomwares. I'll throw out Mimi Cats. I mean, there's a lot of different things that if an admin is logged onto the machine and then that machine gets infected, getting that admin credential is a lot easier. And so if we remove that from the equation early on, to where we've separated out our admin and users, we always log in with a user account, we always elevate to an admin credential. That is, leaps and bounds better than saying, okay, this user has admin, this user has admin, or I've been in companies where everyone has local admin. That really causes a security problem, because getting that admin credential, elevating privilege, or even taking control, locking people out. There's a lot of things that can happen when that admin credential is taken. So I would say definitely a separation of that user and admin account comes in next.
Yeah, I agree. I always think about that. Like you have the crown jewels, and you have a special key for these crown jewels, and not everybody has these keys. Only the admins, and they take this key only when they need it. And for all other doors, they're using the the normal key, the standard key. So, like taking this special key, the key for the crown jewels, very, very seriously. So, yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah, and the method works no matter if it's an on-premise servers and systems, or hosted, or SaaS applications. The same philosophy works no matter where a business is set up. So, if you're signing up for an Office 365 account or a Google Workspace account, that first login is automatically an admin. Well, that login shouldn't have the email and everything that they're going to be using on a daily basis. So planning that, separating that admin and user, works no matter what type of infrastructure or how the company's built.
Hmm. Okay, we had number 5, number 6.
So number 6, multi-factor authentication.
Oh,
Um,
I was
yeah,
waiting for that.
huh?
I was waiting for multi-factor authentication.
Yeah,
Everybody talked about that.
yeah. Multi-factor authentication. We've seen the evolution where it's been username and password, but as we've seen it with the GPUs and AI and all this processing that is getting so much faster, that passwords are getting cracked at record speeds. And so you need that next layer. So I think we're past a point where it's username and password. Right now a username and password combination is about as secure as just a username. So that multi-factor authentication, so that you've got the username, the password, and something else, whether it be biometric or the one-time passcodes, or you name it. That's the next layer. And I've seen the password requirements go to where instead of changing them every 90 days, now we don't change them. So we make them super long. We don't change them, but we add that multi-factor on top of it so that it increases that security. But I would definitely place multi-factor next.
And Will, do you use multi-factor authentication for every program you have, every software, or only to those which are very critical?
I would say we have to look at what data is there. If multi-factor is available, use it. That's the advice I give. If it's available, use it. If it's not available, see if you can integrate it with your identity provider. So like Azure or Entra ID now, or your Google Workspace or something else that is your identity provider. Because at least there you can get multi-factor. So if you can't do it within the application, can it integrate so that you can enable multi-factor? But absolutely, the big thing though is figuring out a strategy to not give your users alert fatigue, so multi-factor fatigue. I've seen that time and time again. You log into the computer, multi-factor. Log into this website, multi-factor. Log into this one, multi-factor. What winds up happening is our users get so used to clicking yes, it's me, or typing in the code that when they get that alert, if it's a threat actor, they're so desensitized to hitting yes, it's me, that we've got to make sure that our multi-factor strategy isn't so over the top that they're clicking yes on everything.
Yeah. So if we go back to the fourth advice about having backups, and we try to summarize everything. So you should have backups. You should access the backup using your admin rights, which should be, and the password for the admin and the user for the admin should be very, very special, and not usual access to any application. And then when you access using the backup, using your admin rights very, very carefully, you should use multi-factor authentication. And this is
Yes.
the right access to the backups. As an example, for the all three important controls that we talked about, the backup, separation of accounts, and the multi-factor authentication.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it depends on, like I said, there's some applications that you can't do multi-factor. So I've seen some definitely in the backup space that don't even offer it. So it's but then you have to start figuring out how is that backup offline. How can it be protected in a ransomware incident? But they definitely all work together.
Great. So thank you, Will, for these three very, very important controls. So we have 6 out of 12, and see you very soon for the next three.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.